Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alexis. I am a disabled powerlifter from Pennsylvania and an exclusive athlete with Buffbunny Collection. Today, I will be presenting to you the brand new Summit collection, which I'm surprised all of the camo print in this collection is just so good. Little hints of femininity with pinks and lighter washed colors. I'm just very happy to present this to y'all. You can head over to the Buffbunny Collection Instagram page and join their BB Girls group chat, which is their community broadcast channel, and they will be posting all of the details for upcoming collections in there and spilling beans on upcoming collections as early access information if y'all are interested in having early access when this collection drops on January 31st at 1 p.m. CST. Thank y'all so much for being here and all of your support. Truly the only reason why I'm still here and doing this and why I had my contract renewed with Buffbunny Collection is because y'all helped me reach my quota. So I really appreciate that and all of y'all's support, whether it is leaving me a like on this video, commenting something nice, asking a question, following me on here or on my Instagram page. I really appreciate all of y'all just for supporting me in any capacity that you do have. And yeah, I mean, the more y'all support me, the more the brand notices and the more sales I have, the better I reach my quota every month and potentially stay on with the brand even longer. So I really appreciate y'all for everything and just helping me remain on the team. So thank you. So the Summit collection, this is the first collection of 2026, and it really features a lot of cold weather mobility pieces as well as cozy and recovery pieces that, in my opinion, will be most everyone's go-to recovery items. It's a little bit of a smaller launch, but there are a great amount of different color and print options. So I do think that there's a wide variety of good options in this collection for everybody. And it comes at a great time right before the Winter Olympics. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you might know that I used to figure skate. So I started figure skating when I was in foster care. I think it was 10 years old. I was really bad at it. And I just wanted to keep going back to all the public skates and learning. Well, I just became very passionate watching figure skating. And this is when Michelle Kwan and Sasha Cohen were, you know, the biggest rivalry in figure skating at the time. Evgeny Plashenko, like all the big wigs of that time. And they used to actually show the figure skating competitions on TV, which they do not anymore, which is crazy to me. So you're telling me that people find enjoyment out of defying gravity, trying to land these incredibly difficult and technical jumps, but an axle is 1.5 rotations in the air. So if you're doing a quadruple axle, you know, that's some rotations. And you're gonna land on one foot, on one blade that's less than a quarter of an inch wide and look graceful doing it. To me, as a kid, I think that was just incredible. And just the artistry that goes into it and the athleticism, it just encompasses pretty much everything, every part of being active. So that was actually my first love of movement. So I'm excited to wear these fits and kind of head into watching all of the Olympics figure skating competition and feeling cozy and cheering on my favorite skaters. Because I had really weird creeper men on my page, we are girls. We want to know if something is going to be opaque when I'm bending over. So I am so sorry that my bent over tests are going to be just sprinkled in the video rather than just all up front and in one place. I have to protect my safety and my energy because oddly enough, YouTube said that these men didn't go against the community guidelines, and I had to shift gears a little bit just for my comfortability. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Next up, we have the Colorado Fleece Sports Bra, a medium coverage racer back design with removable cup pads. This also features some reflective contouring around the bust and along the racer back in the back, reflective Buffbunny emblem. This is considered a short line with a built-in elastic band, medium compression, and support fabric. The Colorado fleece is made by brushing the inside of the fabric quite a bit, and it gives you that really nice, warm feeling. Going over the details on the inside of the sports bra, there is a bra shelf separator in the center. That way the bust pads don't move around too much, and the bust pads are removable from a slit on the side. This entire sports bra is actually doubly lined. The elastic band that goes all throughout the bottom of the sports bra is just sitting right on top of those two layers of Colorado fleece. I wish that it was inside because this elastic is not brushed. It's not super soft. It feels a little like robust, just the elastic as is. There is a small elastic band or maybe a clear plastic all throughout the entire lining of the arms and the neckline of the sports bra, but it does stretch with you. Reflective painted dots were added as contouring for the side bust as well as the center of the racer back. The silhouette and design of this is most closely related to the bra from the Beta collection, the holographic print. This is a size large, this is a size medium, and then of course the racer back designs are going to be similar as well. In the back, the racer back for this one's going to be a little bit wider than this one. These are the same rise height on the side. For general measurements, the width is coming in about 14 inches. The side rise height is coming in a little over 5 inches. Front rise height is coming in at about 6 inches. The side rise height is coming in about 5 inches. The back band rise height is coming in at about 3 inches. And then the total back rise height is about under 12 inches. And the width of the racer back is a little under 2 inches. And the straps are about 1 inch.
Right off the bat, I think that this fits a little bit too tight. I have a wider frame and like a flat chest profile, so around the bust it actually fits great, but because I have a wider upper body frame, it digs into my lats, which I'm definitely not in preference for. This is going to be more of a medium to high compression and support level on me and my personal body type. So with the jump test, I would definitely confer that that is medium to high compression and support. The straps are actually really comfortable. They are not digging into me. They're not uncomfortable at all. The lat coverage is good, not excellent. I surprisingly don't have any gaping. For other details, I'm going to list in little check marks here. I do think that this runs a little small, so I would recommend sizing up if you have a wider frame like me. I think where a lot of the tension is honestly just in this bottom band. I don't know if y'all can tell a lot, but it's definitely digging in there. So that bottom elastic band is also really agitating me because it's not brushed. It's just the elastic band as is. I think if it was brushed, it would be a lot more comfortable. Or if it was like that Beta collection holographic sports bra where the elastic was actually like encased, I would have to rank the Colorado Fleece sports bra a solid 9 out of 10. And the only two things that I'm not in preference for is number one, the overall sizing is just a little bit too snug. And then the lat coverage. I would like, you know, that opening for the back to just be a little bit less. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid bra. I definitely think that this is a great like medium to high support.
Next up, we have the Dream Heather V-neck tank built-in bra shelf with this beautiful under bust curvature that really allows a little bit of contouring of a U-shaped hemline, and it is for the most part straight across. In the back, it is a nice wider racer back design, and I do want to point out that this is singly lined all throughout, just not in the bra shelf cup area. A tonal silicone Buffbunny emblem, but it is only doubly lined in the bra shelf area. You can see how the light hits the singly lined part of the rest of it. The bottom hemline is nicely done where the fabric is simply folded onto itself, and it is nice and stretchy with its stitching quality. Throughout the lining of the neckline and the arms of this, it is the fabric folded onto itself and sewn in place, and it's nice and stretchy, but the neckline and lining actually has a built-in like elastic, and it is invertedly sewn. That way it's nice and smooth across the chest and still stretches with you. Now, turning this inside out, I do want to show y'all how that stitching for the bra shelf was made. It is the underbust contouring in a delicate, more rosa-like stitching quality, and I kind of wish there was an elastic band added to there just to give it like a little bit more support. There is a very fine stitch seam as the bra shelf cup separator, that way they don't move around too much, and there is a slit on the bottom edge to remove the bust pads. For comparisons, the last time we saw a Dream Heather tank top was the Story of Motherhood collection. This is a high neckline with princess contouring lines, and the fit of it is a kind of a fit and flare, whereas the new one is pretty much a very fitted version. I joked around with the other athletes in our communication platform that if you wear it backwards, it could be a deep V kind of tank top, but it does not have like the ability to have bust pads on the back end. And it's funny because I think Teresa Hurtado ended up wearing it that way in a video, so I was like, look at us being trendy when the new one came out, which was really exciting. Anyways, the original does have a bra shelf line that is completely separate, and it is on the inside, and it goes all throughout the tank top, whereas the new one is only in the front. The front of the old one and the back of the new one are almost about the same height. The side length is almost the same, but it's a little hard to measure with the curve and shape of the older one. The newer one has less wide straps, and I do think that the Dream Heather fabric feels the same. It has been thinner and stretchier since the One More collection, not like it was in the Grounds collection. And for general measurements, the bottom width is coming in at about under 14 inches. Across the bust, it's measuring in at about 14 inches. The total rise height is coming in at about 9 inches. The bust rise height is coming in at about 3 inches. The strap width is under 1 inch wide. The total back rise height is coming in at about 16 inches. And the side length is coming in at about 9 inches.
If y'all know me, I love a meet and greet length tank top with a built-in sports bra. The underbust contouring, I think it adds just a little bit of shape to the bust with a little jump test. This is, in my opinion, a light support tank top because I personally have a wide, broad shoulders and like no chest, like a small cup size. This is not really like giving any a whole lot of support. I don't have any gaping. I personally think this is medium coverage, potentially smaller coverage if you have a larger bust size. Definitely wide frame friendly. I'm not having tension on the sides. It has excellent amount of lat coverage, which I'm so here for. And then in the back, I think it's nice and simple. The fabric, I love that it's singly lined in the back because it means that it's nice and stretchy, a little thinner fabric, and it's singly lined all throughout the actual like torso area. So as you're moving around, you know, it is going to roll up. On me with my longer torso, this is hitting at the smallest of my waist, which would be a meet and greet length with leggings. But I think for the shorter torso girls or shorter girls, this might be more of a hip length for y'all. This is true to size. I would not recommend sizing up because the Dream Heather fabric is now like more stretchier and a little bit thinner compared to what it was in its original form. As I would only size down if you have a small bust size and more of a narrow frame. But I will have to rank this a solid 9 out of 10. Only two things that I'm not really in preference for is number one, I do wish that it had just a tiny bit more support. If the elastic was added there, I think it would just give you a little bit support, because right now I feel like this is just sitting on my skin. It's not like actually pressing in and giving me any support there. The second thing I'm not really in preference for is that I actually do wish that this had a more higher coverage, that this is going to be more small to medium bust friendly. If you have a much larger bust, I mean, I don't know where that curve would hit and your bust might actually go underneath it and that line might cut into you. I think to be more inclusive, it would be nice to have an even higher coverage option just to be more inclusive for everybody. Maybe that's super nitpicky. I can give it 9 to 9.5 out of 10, but overall I am really liking it. I really love this tank top and I did request it in multiple colors, so I do think I will be wearing it often to the gym just because I love like minimal, just throw one thing on and go. So I don't have to pack a bra and a top and, you know, whatever.
Next up, we have the brand new base layer long sleeve hip tee, and this has a cotton-like feel to it. It is made of tense, wool, and spandex. It has thermal regulation. It also features a watch vent. It is very lightweight and slinky and almost has a ribbed kind of woven design to it. Princess contouring lines in the front and in the back. There's a slight rounded bottom hemline, a embroidered Buff Bunny emblem, and the neckline and bottom seam is simply the fabric folded in half and onto itself. It is stitched super nicely where it still stretches with the fabric. The princess contour lines are not just sewn on top of the fabric. It is actually different panels that are sewn together. But I will say that the stitch seams throughout this top are not soft and gonna brush up against the skin. So I kind of wish they were a little bit more brushed and softer feeling. Inside, we also have a plastic Buff Bunny Collection tag. And for general comparisons, I do have the Halo Top waist top. The princess contouring in the front is a lot different for the two, and they are both high neck rise, where the neckline for the Halo Top is a lot stretchier and wider. Comparing the side lengths, the hip length versus the waist length is actually not that far off. So the Halo Top has a more rounded middle panel, and on the front side, the Halo Top waist length is going to be shorter than the whole hip length just by a little bit, and both of these fabrics are pretty lightweight, slinky, and stretchy. The Halo Top is a lot softer, and the new base layer is more of like a micro ribbed cotton-like feel. It's a little bit more rough on the skin feel as well. For general measurements, the bottom width is coming in at about 13.5 inches. The mid waist is coming in at about 14 1/4 inches. The total front rise height is a little under 17 inches. The side rise height is 10.5 inches, and the back rise height is coming in at about 19.5 inches. The sleeve length is coming in at about 29.5 inches. because it is itchy. Seams, especially where they're joined and stitched together on the contouring and the neckline and the arms, around the armpits and shoulder, just not, it's itchy. It reminds me a lot of the Halo top. It's just a slinky, different fabric, basically. So it does fit nice. I think it is large arm friendly because of how stretchy it is. It really clings to you. I don't think it's too tight where the stitch seam is. It's very like clingy looking, is how it's supposed to be. I do like the back and front like contour lines, but again, where it's all stitched together, the stitch seams, it's itchy like all throughout, and then I feel it and notice it on my torso. So that's just the only thing that I'm not in preference for. But the other details that I notice are going to be here on the side. I do think this is going to be true to size. I would not recommend sizing down because you risk it being even more sheer. If you were to size up, it'd be just a tiny bit less sheer, but it may not be as clingy on you. Put it through the vent. And overall, I will have to rank this 9 out of 10. I'm only deducting 2 half points, and one of those being the fact that it's itchy. Overall, I'm not going to wear this. I'm probably going to return it to the brand. I just wanted to get this for y'all and wear it for, you know, your review purposes. Second thing that I will take away from this is that I do wish that the fabric was just a little bit thicker. I hope to have, you know, maybe this come back in like a thicker version, but those are really the only 2 things I'm not in preference for. I think overall the fit is like good, and it's just like a nice simple top. Next up, we have the Halo long sleeve hip tee, and there are no fit changes to the Halo long sleeve tee compared to the original. So I'm going to go right into the details. This does feature some thumb holes. There is a white base with the print added on top of it. Halo top fabric is very slinky and stretchy and lightweight. I'm not feeling really any difference between the fabrics. I do think that the original solid color feels a little bit stretchier, but that might just because the print was added on top of it. But the fabrics feel the same and about the same weight. A rounded bottom hemline, and I know that this is a longer length and the PDF says that there are no fit changes, but it is apparent that the newer one fits just a little bit more tight or fitted compared to the original. Nice contour lines, and it is a little bit of a fit and flare just because it's going to go below the smallest point of your waist. Matching up the stitch seams, the newer Halo top long sleeve is going to be just a little bit wider, but then again, this is a size extra large compared to the size large original. This fit just a tiny bit more snug and clingy compared to the original, and it feels just a little bit thinner, stretchy, and of course I do think that this is large arm friendly. It does cling to me, and I do notice the stitch seam around the sleeve and armpit like area. I think that this is true to size. You can size up if you don't want it to be so clingy, and if you carry a lot of extra weight in your arms like I do and you don't want it to be like form-fitting, then yeah, definitely size up. I would not recommend sizing down, especially if you get any of the camo prints, because when you size down, you are going to stretch out the print and make it look even more opaque. So this is hip length on me. So overall, I would have to rank the updated long sleeve Halo top, even though the PDF says it's not. I will have to rank this like a 9 out of 10. The only 2 things I'm not really in preference for is a little bit of tension in the armpit arm areas, and then quality control stuff, why this was half an inch smaller, so that's almost a full inch compared to the original long sleeve, you know. So those are the only 2 things I'm not in preference for, but it's a nice lightweight cover. I like this a lot more than the base layer cover just because it's not nearly as sheer, and it's more soft and luxurious and lightweight, like almost as if you're not wearing anything. I do highly recommend getting this. I wear the long sleeve Halo, the pink one and the onyx black one a lot when I'm at the gym, so I think these are really like winter essential go-tos. Next up, we have the improved Colorado fleece jacket. So right off the bat, I'm going to show comparisons because there are quite a bit of fit updates for this one. So I did size up to a size extra large. The original was a little bit longer in length. Contour lines were updated and are not as wide. Original, the contour lines came about an inch away from the zipper, and on the newer one it's about almost 2 inches away from the zipper. This now features reflective dots and a watch vent. The original and the newer one still have a thumb hole. The length difference, to me these feel the exact same weight. Fleece feels exactly the same to me in terms of stretch and warmth feeling and the way that it's brushed on the inside. Slightly rounded bottom hemline, a stub collar or a shortened collar, a nicely hidden zipper, and the contour lines allow for the stitching for hidden pocket hand zippers, which are fleeced lined. The contouring on the back is about the same width, and there are the reflective dots that are added along the new one. On the left sleeve, there is the same quality of hidden zipper, and the pocket is big enough to fit my iPhone 16. And for the really nice features in the cuffs of the sleeves, you do have the nice watch vents, the reflective added dots, a thumb loop, and also the ability to fold these over and keep your hands warm as a mitten. Now, I am disappointed. I wish that the fleece lining would be touching the inside of my skin and not on the outside of this, but for looks, I completely understand. The newer one is an extra large and the older one is a large. You can see that the size difference really isn't that far off. And looking at the sleeves, it does appear that the newer one is a little bit more forgiving and a tiny bit extra room, but again, keep in mind that this is a size extra large, so really not too much of a difference between the two sizes. And for general measurements, the bottom width is coming in at about over 18.5 inches. The smallest part of the waist is coming in at about 15 inches. The total front rise is 23 inches. The sleeve width is about 6 inches. The sleeve length is about 29 inches. And the cuff opening is about
The watch vent is amazing. I'm a huge fan of the mittens because I am missing most of my fingers, so gloves are not easy for me to wear in the winter. So this is a great extra layer, so that way I can just kind of keep my hands nice and warm with what I'm doing. So I truly appreciate that as someone who has really poor circulation and missing fingers. With this being wider rather than so far in, I think it really complements like the bust. This is significantly shorter compared to the original on me because I have a longer torso. On this one, it's a little bit better, but I did size up to the XL. And again, this does fit more true to size compared to the original. The pockets are really nice because they are very nice fleece lined, so those will keep your hands warm as well. Stay true to size or size up if you want it to be a little bit more baggy. Overall, I would have to rank the Colorado Fleece zip-up jacket a solid 9 out of 10. The only reason why I'm taking away 2 half points for me and my personal preferences is because number one, I actually do like extra length like the original. So I do think that this is a little short on me because if I am moving around and, you know, lifting up my arms, this comes up and I'm curvy, right? So I have a smaller waist and I have like bigger hips. So this is naturally going to rise up to the smaller part of my body. So I do wish that this was more of the fuller length. That way it wouldn't ride up so much. I just feel like on me, there should have been like a longer length option. And the second thing I'm not really in preference for, I do still think that the arm sleeves run tight. I would prefer them to just be a little bit more roomy, maybe by like 1/4 of an inch let out. That way that stitch seam for the pocket doesn't have like any tension or dig into like the bottom of my arm. But overall, I'm really happy with this jacket. I love the color.
Next up, we have the Plush Fleece Crew Pullover. It is not stretchy and it feels like a Sherpa blanket in clothing form. You're a newer thumb hole design and collar. The cuffs and the bottom hemline are all made of this stretchy jersey fabric, which you can add on over your head without disrupting your makeup. The embroidery and lettering has a arch design to it, and that lettering is actually plush fleece, probably scraps in the lighter camo color that were added onto and stitched super nicely onto the sweater. So very high quality. I love that they chose this lighter color for the lettering. That way it doesn't bleed on top of the base of the sweater. In the back, it's nice and simple. The sleeves, they are shorter sleeves that are just oversized. Thumb holes are multiple pieces of that ribbed fabric folded onto each other and not sealed. Plush is the heaviest. It doesn't have any stretch in any direction. Cloud fabric has a lot of stretch in any direction, and it's a lighter weight and less thick brushed material. And then threads fabric, this is more brushed, but it's very cotton feeling. It doesn't stretch in any direction either. So this is the lighter weight, like all year round kind of fabric. This is a little bit warmer fall, spring kind of weather, or all year round if you want hotter in the summer. And then this is definitely cooler weather type material. General measurements, the bottom width is coming in at about 23.5 inches. The front rise height is coming in a little over 24 inches. The side rise height is coming in 13.25 inches. The sleeve length from the top is coming in at about 21.5 inches, and the cuff width is coming in 11 inches.
I absolutely love this crew sweater so much. It has to be my favorite sweater from Buffbunny Collection now. The plush fleece is amazing, and I did get a size 3XL so that it could be really baggy and like oversized enough to cover my butt. It doesn't fully cover my butt, but it's close to it. So I will say right off the bat, I do think that this sweater actually runs small because this is a size 3XL, and I think if you were a size 3XL, this would be fitting more, a little bit fitted. This fabric is not stretchy. So, I mean, I personally would recommend sizing up one size. That's just my opinion, but I like my sweaters baggy like this. So the thumb holes are comfortable, but they're not gonna stay on me really because I wanted to size up. So in my personal opinion, I definitely recommend sizing up if you want it to not be form-fitting and just to be a little bit baggy. But that's just my personal opinion, and 3XL is my preference because I want it to be loungy and slouchy and cozy. Overall, I would have to rank this a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason why I'm deducting a half point for me and my personal preferences is because the qualm that I have is like if you're a larger person, yeah, your wrists and your hands are going to be a little bigger, but it doesn't justify this being so big. So I do wish that these were a little bit more fitted for the larger sizes as well. We're advocating for y'all. I would like just a tiny bit more length in the back. I highly recommend this. This is so luxurious. It feels like you're just wearing a Sherpa blanket, and if you're going to be in cold weather, I think this is perfect. Next up, we have the Plush Fleece Zip Up Hoodie. And other than the sleeves, there's no other changes. Before, I'm just going to go over the details really quick. The material at the bottom and on the cuff sleeves that are nice and stretchy. This is going to be a full length hoodie, so it's going to hit like a little bit below the hip and lower belly area. Really nice pockets with mesh inner pocket, so that way you can really secure like your phone or any kind of other item. Big zipper, and it does have an engraved Buffbunny Collection emblem. This does not have any draw cords for the hoodie. So beautiful. It's like a Sherpa blanket, but as a sweater, it is the thickest and heaviest like sweat material from Buffbunny Collection. On the left sleeve, we do still have Buffbunny Collection embroidered. The original Plush Fleece hoodie are both a size large. So this one is significantly smaller compared to the newer one. So the newer one is just bigger all around. I think it already matched up the stitch seams for where the sleeves began, and they're definitely, you know, a few inches off in size large, and they're both coming up about the same length for the front. And on the back side, and at the same like backrest height. Plush is the heaviest. It doesn't have any stretch in any direction. Cloud fabric has a lot of stretch in any direction, and it's a lighter weight and less thick brushed material. Threads fabric, very cotton feeling. It doesn't stretch in any direction either. So this is the lighter weight, like all year round kind of fabric. This is a little bit warmer fall, spring, and then this is definitely cooler weather type material. For general measurements, bottom width is coming in at about 18 inches. The side rise height is coming in a little over 9 inches. The total rise height for the front, 21.5 inches. The sleeve length is coming in at a little over 22 inches. Total back rise height is coming in a little over 23 inches. I love the Plush Fleece hoodies. I think they're so cozy and just amazing. I'm a huge fan of them. I think you should stay true to size because this bottom band is going to be a little bit more like true to size fitted. You can size down if you want a little bit more of like a cropped look. So I did get this in a size medium as well, just to give me a little bit more of that cropped look. I was really hoping that this would come back with like drawstrings because I personally love, you know, actually wearing my hoodie for functionality, especially when it's like raining and windy. But the mesh inner pocket is great. You can end up but the mesh inner pocket is great because you can, you know, fit your phone in there a little bit more securely. And overall, I would rank this a 9.5 out of 10. I love the Plush Fleece hoodies and sweat sets, the pants. I wear mine a lot. So the only thing that I would take a half point away for this is just the length of it, because if I stand upright, it is just a little bit above where like my belly starts showing. Obviously, if you lift up your arms, because the way that the sleeves are made, this is going to look a little bit more shorter in length. So that's the only thing that, you know, I'm not really in preference for. But just with the tank top, like the pink and the camo looks so cute. So I highly, highly recommend that y'all try this out. I think it is such a stunning, really nice, comfortable hoodie set for the winter. In my personal opinion, I think this is like a winter essentials that you need to get.
Next up, we have the Colorado Fleece bodysuit. This is coming in 3 different colorways. Colorado Fleece is a medium to high compression and support fabric brushed on the inside to create that fleece lining. Focusing on the top portion first, the zipper features several hidden zipper features along with an engraved Buffbunny emblem. The collar is doubly lined with minimal stretch. There are 2 hook and loop closures for the zipper. That way you can fasten this and then unzip to show a little cleavage. On the inside, there is a mesh paneling that goes into the sides, and that's going to allow for more compression and tummy control for only the front portion of the bodysuit, especially the lower body area. The legs, the arms, and the back of the bodysuit are singly lined, so the only part that is doubly lined with the mesh paneling is the front into a little bit of the sides. The deep V, very deep V front contouring, a shorter rise height. The sleeves have thumb holes and a watch vent, and there are side pockets that are really stitched nicely into the curvature of the bodysuit. The top lining of the pockets are simply sewn and not bonded, and they go well with the curvature of this. The bottom pant leg openings are fairly stretchy. The fabric simply folded onto itself, and I do want to point out that all of the contouring and stitching throughout this entire bodysuit are more robust and reflect more of the legacy legging style stitching. Looking at the inside of this, we can see stitching a little bit more apparent. In the glute rise, there is a simple stitch seam, no glute elastic. And I do want to point out that mine was a little faulty. It has some manufacturing fault issues where you can see that the stitching is not well finished off. And the only reflective Buffbunny emblem is on the upper back side. This is the Shapeshifter bodysuit. The mesh material feels exactly the same. Down into the deep V for the waistband, and that allows some more compression onto like your lower belly, whereas the Shapeshifter bodysuit, the mesh paneling started at the bust line and went all the way down into about your mid thigh, goes into the back as well to give you some compression right above the glutes and to really kind of smooth out your back. But the new bodysuit, that mesh material stops a little bit past, like a little bit further back. For general measurements, the hip width is about 14 inches, mid waist 13 inches, side length until the hip stitch is 10 inches. The crotch gusset all the way to the top is measuring in a little over 25 inches. Length of the front to the deep V is a little over 21.5 inches. The rise height in the front is about 4 inches. The total rise height for the back is coming in a little under 29 inches. And then that back rise height from the crotch gusset to the bottom of the deep V is 7 inches. The inseam length is 27 inches. And from the neck all the way down to the end of the sleeve is 27 inches. The widest part of the arm is about 5 inches wide. And then the glute rise height is about 7 inches. Putting this on, I was like, this is not gonna work. But once you get it on and once you kind of break it in, for lack of a better term, it definitely fits. This is pretty compressive. It doesn't have a built-in bra shelf, and I'm not wearing a bra underneath it just because I wanted y'all to kind of see like how compressive it is. Have neck tension. It's definitely being pulled down. Overall, this is not long torso friendly. I'm having major camel toe. The zipper feels like it's being stretched in the long direction, and I have a lot of tension on my neck. So it's not tall girl friendly or long torso friendly right off of the bat. So I don't think that this is going to be large bust friendly unless you size up, because I'm being compressed down with that mesh inner liner, and from the side you can just kind of see like how flat I look. If you have a larger bust, I feel like this is going to push this way more and even tug even more in the crotch area, and we definitely don't want that. That deep V-stitch seam is actually very functional because to get this whole bodysuit on, having that extra little bit of zipper room down here to widen out and then put on is super helpful. I do think this is wide frame friendly. It does have a decent amount of stretch in it. This is snug on my arms, especially like the stitch seam in the armpit. That's where I kind of notice tension. The watch vent, and of course the nice thumb loops, inner mesh lining. It goes all the way until here, and then in the back it's just singly lined. For the top portion, I do think it is true to size, with acknowledging that it is a medium to high compression feel up top. However, I am not a big fan of the torso length because, again, I have a long torso. It's just pulling at my neck, and I definitely feel
it pulling at my crotch as well. To relieve some of the tension in my neck, those two hook and loop closures, that way if you wanted to have like a little cleavage moment, you definitely could. In doing so, that also allows like less tension on my neck by opening this up, right? Because this is giving a little bit more fabric back to my shoulders and stuff, so I do have less tension. This is actually not a locking zipper because, as you can see, it can still roll down. But as long as you have the hook and loop closure in place, I think you should definitely be fine. So let's go over the bottom. The bottom portion, that deep V waistband does hit pretty deep, but surprisingly, it's actually pretty compressive with having those added mesh paneling on the inside. So from the side profile, you can see the tummy control is actually pretty good on this bodysuit, but I'm getting major camel toe because, again, my torso length is longer, and this is just keeps like wanting to pull up. So our full length on me, it's just okay on the glutes. I'm not really getting any like lift per se, I'm just getting compression all around. So you see the natural like curvature of my back and where the top of my butt begins. So the glute stitch seam really should be hitting up here for me, but they're hitting quite low. So I think the glute rise and the overall the glutes is just too short. It's not for like long bottoms and girls who have like really big butts like me. Pretty thick cellulite on this thigh, and it's extremely well camouflaged because of the camouflage print, but also because this pocket really adds a little bit more compression right on top of that cellulite. Cellulite friendly. Moving, this keeps sliding up, and I just think it's because of so much tension, like with me having a longer torso. So again, you can see it's just pulling down from this not being long enough, and then that ends up pulling the bottoms up and giving me camel toe. And that these are not squat grip. I have, I think, bikini style like dark underwear on, but just really quick, it is a white fabric with the, you know, dye over it to create this print. So overall, I'm going to have to rank the Colorado Fleece bodysuit a 7 out of 10, and it loses 3 half points or 6 whole things for me and my personal preferences because, number one, the torso length for one, the arms and the stitching around is just a little bit too snug. The stitch seams for the back of the glute is just too low because overall like glute rise needs to be increased. So the fifth thing is that that stitch quality from like above the glutes contouring where it reaches, it just wasn't well polished. It was not well finished off. As someone who has experience like sewing, I was just surprised by that. I think it was just like a defect. So, and then the last thing I'm not really in preference for, I do think that from the bust area up should not have that inner lash lining because I have like a pretty flat chest profile and this is really like squishing me down, and I don't have, you know, a large chest, but if you did have a much larger chest, I just feel like you wouldn't have a whole lot of room. I would love to see this bodysuit come back and then like even longer version for the tall people. It'd be great for pictures and great to try out, but for practicality, I'm more of a two-piece kind of person. Honestly, if you are shaped like me, I would not recommend this, but if you are a shorter girl who has a like short glute rise, have like a average size bust like that, this would work well for you.
Next up, we have the Colorado Fleece legging. Colorado Fleece is made by brushing the fabric on the inside, so it's nice and warm feeling. It is a medium to high compression and support 4-way stretch fabric. It comes in 3 different inseam lengths. There is a stitch inseam on the inside and not on the outside. The waistband is pretty tapered in. Front waistband has a deep V, and the back has a reflective Buffbunny emblem. Deep V for above the glute contouring. In the glute rise, it is simply legacy stitching. The waistband is doubly lined with a diamond-shaped crotch gusset, and the bottom leg opening does have a good amount of stretch to it.
I don't have the Colorado Flare version of the leggings, so I can't really compare these to anything else other than my Legacy 6-inch shorts. These are a size large, these are a size medium. Matching up the crotch gusset stitching all the way to the top, these are almost the same rise height. However, New Bray fabric is a lot more stretchier in all directions, and the Colorado Fleece is a lot more dense, so just keep that in mind.
And for general measurements, the front glute rise height is coming in a little over 10 inches, the middle of the hips a little over 15 inches, the waistband width about 10.5 inches, the total back rise height a little over 10 inches, the biggest part of the thigh a little over 8 inches.
A full length legging on me. So high rise actually means where your belly button sits, and this is for like a lean body type, not mine. Probably should fit around here. So this is high rise in the fashion industry, that's the terminology. However, we say mid rise so that people better understand it's not going to meet at the smallest part of your waist. So anyways, these are fitting high rise / mid rise. They're definitely
like giving me muffin top because they're so like tapered in the waist. I do notice that like stitch seam for the waistband, the stitch seam is like literally digging into me. I don't know if you can see that too much there. So I think that just draws a lot more eyesight attention to the area. And with the bodysuit, it had a super deep V waistband that had like mesh paneling on the inside to really compress you down. This does not have that, so I do think that this has core tummy control. Definitely getting camel toe. I think the crotch gusset, if it wasn't the diamond shape, maybe it would be a little bit better. But the stitching, it goes into the back, and just see how low it dips right here. It's like, I don't know, maybe a third of my butt too low. So this stitch seam should be going like right above the glutes. It is not. On me, it's hitting here, but it really should be hitting a little bit more above my glutes here. So on me, this is just not fitting well. This is just sitting on the skin. It's not lifting. It's not really accentuating my glutes because I don't want to pull them up too much and then have them appear like even more sheer, or have them give me even more of a camel toe, you know? So on this thigh, I do have pretty thick cellulite, and even from the back, you can kind of see the shadowing a tiny bit. For the most part, like my cellulite is pretty camouflaged in these leggings because that print is so nice at doing that. It's literally camouflage, right? The waistband is like pretty tapered in. I do get rolling when I move to the sides, so we can see that there. That's not exactly ideal. They stretch, but they don't really stretch with you as well as like new braid fabric would. I definitely think that they're sliding on me. I would recommend staying true to size if you are a lean body type, if you are sexy curvilicious like me and have a bigger juicy booty and you're wanting to try these out. I would actually recommend sizing up. Overall, I'm gonna have to rank these a no. No, overall I would probably rank these like, because the rise height is not for me. Second thing is the camel toe situation. I don't know if like maybe a different crotch gusset could help that. Third thing, the stitching is just a little bit too tight and tense for this like fabric and what we want it to do. So I think the tension needs to be let out a little bit. Fourth thing, stitching for the top of the glute rise is just way too low. Fifth thing is that the glute rise altogether is for short glute rise girls. This intersection is just not hitting where it needs to be. Sixth thing would be that, I mean, they're opaque. I personally would not recommend these to anyone unless they're actually a lean body type and they're really looking for like a warm weather mid-rise kind of legging. Powerlifting, having almost 300 pounds on my back and squatting down and getting up, these are not it. Personally would not recommend these to anyone else who has my same body type. I don't think they're flattering. I don't really think they're that comfortable. And next up we have the Plush Fleece straight leg pant. I did size up in a size XL because these do have a fit update where they fit more true to size. A very thick fabric. It feels like a Sherpa blanket. It is not stretchy in any direction. Is that it has these like diagonal woven lines. It's relaxed fit, draw cord, elasticated waistband, side pockets, no zippers. This is the short version, and we have 3 different pant leg options. The very bottom of the pant legs are very simply finished off where the fabric is folded onto itself and have engraved Buffbunny on these silicone draw string cord tips. Where on the inside of the waistband, if I were to fold this over, the nice plush fleece fabric here. So if you roll these down, this is going to look really nice. The white base that the print was added onto does feel exactly the same as the original plush fleece. I think the brushing on the inside is exactly the same as well. At the biggest part of the thigh and the bottom of the pant leg are just a little bit off. So the bottom of the pant legs are just a tiny bit swinged out. Pockets are, of course, large enough to fit your phone. Inside lining is not plush fleece. It's actually a nice, simple cotton fabric. Backside, just nice and simple. Okay, so for comparisons, keep in mind these are a size XL because the PDF states that these are now more true to size fit, but other than that, no other changes. These are the original plush fleece straight leg pant, and these are a size large. And comparing the waistband, the original do run still a little bit bigger compared to the XL size up. And if I line the pant legs up on top of each other, the plush fleece originals are still a little bit bigger than the newer ones. Those are about the same size as well. Plush is the heaviest. It doesn't have any stretch in any direction. Cloud fabric has a lot of stretch in any direction, and it's a lighter weight and less thick brushed material. Threads fabric, it's very cotton feeling. It doesn't stretch in any direction either. So this is the lighter weight, like all year round kind of fabric. This is a little bit warmer fall, spring kind of weather. This is definitely cooler weather type material. And for general measurements, the top of the waistband is coming in at a little over 15 inches, middle of the hip area of a little under 23 inches, front rise height is coming in a little under 14 inches.
I am obsessed. I absolutely love the print. I didn't think I would, but it's girly, it's feminine, but I am wearing my New Balance 9060s, and I just want to show y'all that the short length works really well. One of my biggest pet peeves is when the back of your pants are all wet or dirty from dragging on the ground. So I do think that these are fitting a little bit less higher rise and just a little bit more fitted compared to the original pair. Again, I did size up to an extra large. I think they look really great. They up at the highest, they can be like ultra high rise. In the back, I actually think it's pretty flattering on the glutes. I don't know why, but like that camouflage really just adds to like my shape. I don't know. These are actually working out super, super well. They feel so luxurious and warm. You know, Sherpa blanket as pants. The pockets are comfortable. I like the cotton inner lining. It has a nice like finished off waistband. You could wear these a little bit lower rise. Waistband really is nicely done. So I would say stay true to size or size up if you want a little bit more of a baggy look. I know a lot of the gym girls nowadays, it's trending for them to get super oversized, like parachute looking sweatpants and then wear them kind of low rise and show off their little bellies. If you want to do that, I would highly recommend to size up, maybe like 2 sizes. Overall, I'm going to have to rank these a solid 9.5 out of 10. I actually really, really love the Plush fleece. I wear mine a lot. I live in Pennsylvania and it's consistently just really cold. So I would highly recommend to try these out, especially if you're in a colder weather area or if you are going to be like hunting or doing any kind of like sports outdoors. I definitely recommend trying out Plush fleece sweat sets from Buffbunny Collection because they are chef's kiss. So good. Okay, the last thing I will be reviewing, this is the Colorado Fleece headband, and I'm actually a really big fan of it. It's not too tight on my head right off the bat, and it does have a reflective Buffbunny Collection emblem. It's smaller in the back, wider towards the front of your head, and it is doubly lined all throughout. The stitch quality is like invertedly sewn. On the inside, it is that nice Colorado brushed fleece, so it's nice and warm feeling. The right side is where there is a hidden pocket. So this pocket is large enough for you to put a key, maybe like a hair tie or anything small. Right, so I have mine on where it is covering my ears. I love that, and I think it is staying in place pretty dang well. Fleece like inner lining is gonna really stick to your hair and it's not gonna like slide too easily. I think not too tight. I definitely have been wearing it. I just ate dinner. I made creamy potato soup. Talking to my husband and whatever, it did slide up a little bit in the back, but I think as I wear it and kind of like break it in, stretch it out a little bit, sweat in it, it's gonna work just fine. I'm surprised it's not too tight on my head actually, so really happy with it. If you made it to the end, thank y'all so much for being here and all of your support. Truly the only reason why I'm still here and doing this and why I had my contract renewed with Buffbunny Collection is because y'all helped me reach my quota. So I really appreciate that and all of y'all's support, whether it is leaving me a like on this video, commenting something nice, asking a question, following me on here or on my Instagram page. I really appreciate all of y'all just for supporting me in any capacity that you do have. And yeah, I mean, the more y'all support me, the more the brand notices and the more sales I have, the better I reach my quota every month and potentially stay on with the brand even longer. So I really appreciate y'all for everything and just helping me remain on the team. So thank you. The Summit Collection will be launching on January 31st at 1 p.m. CST, and please use my athlete code LEXI, L-E-X-I, at checkout on any of your Buffbunny Collection purchases. This saves you 10% and also earns me commission, but it really just allows the team to know that my support is growing. So I really appreciate y'all for being here. My favorite items from this entire Summit Collection definitely have to be the Plush fleece straight leg sweatpants. I do wish that they came in a jogger options, but also available in jogger form. I would have got more. I think for tops, my favorite is going to have to be the long sleeve halo or pink camo. I really do like the Dream Heather tank top, but I do think that structurally it just needs a little bit more for the underbust area. My least favorite item or items from this entire Summit collection are definitely going to have to be hands down 100% the Colorado Fleece leggings. I think they just are not curvy, all friendly. And I think the second thing that I really just was not in preference for probably was the base layer cover, because the stitching quality, it just was itchy, and I think I wish that the fabric was a little bit more brushed. So that's just me and my personal preferences. I also want to know if any of y'all follow figure skating or snowboarding. Who are your favorite picks for winning gold for America in the 2026 Winter Olympics? I personally am really hoping that Alyssa Liu wins gold. She had a phenomenal short program recently at the Nationals, but her long program, she only started it like a month ago, and she performed it for the first time. And in figure skating world, starting a whole new program like a month before a major competition is just insanity. She's edgy. I think she is what the sport of figure skating needed. They needed rawness. They needed someone who said, hey, I'm piecing out for a couple of years because I have mental health issues. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do things my way. I'm no longer going to be America's angel and, you know, be something that everybody else wants me to be. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to show it for myself. And I really respect that. But it's also wild to think that someone retired at the age of like 16, 17. But I'm so excited for her to be back. She is an incredibly talented figure skater. She was the first woman, I believe, to land a quadruple jump in competition, and she was like 13. She was the youngest woman ever to win a U.S. national championships when she was 13. And I believe she broke several other records within figure skating. So just amazing raw talent, amazing talent, and like beautiful like human being and self-awareness. I'm very excited for her. And for snowboarding, I actually don't follow it, but my husband is a huge fan of snowboarding. But yeah, y'all will have to let me know who you're rooting for. Thank y'all so much for being here, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will see y'all next time.